What's up guys, it's me Jeremy, and it's that time of the month again, time for the new patch. So I'm here with my rundown and analysis of all the major changes. Let's get started. The first and biggest change is the Ashe rework. I made a video going a little bit more in depth into her update, but overall they gave her a lot more utility with no real downside. So it's definitely a big buff, and you can expect her to be a top tier 80 carry now once again. She's gained some nice power, and although her laning phase is still kind of average, the tools she brings to a team now are really powerful and super useful, and so she's a great champion now. Akali also received a pretty decent buff in lowering the cooldown of her Crescent Slash and increasing its AP ratio, while also making her ultimate dash behind its target. Still not being able to proc her Q with her Crescent Slash really still sucks, but these changes are pretty significant as now you can proc the Q with her ultimate a lot more reliably since you now dash behind the target, so getting the auto attack off is pretty easy. So I think this buff is actually enough to have her see some play in solo queue again. Akali is a super powerful solo queue champion, and so I don't think that this change makes her overpowered like before, but it will make her viable and playable once again. Annie's attack range was nerfed by 50. This hurts her early laning phase a bit since she won't be able to get off as much free harass as before, but in the mid and late game she never really needed auto attacks anyways, so I think she will still be strong, just a lot less of a massive bully early on in lane. Hecarim Jungle received a buff in that the Q now does full damage to monsters, but now it costs a lot more mana. This is a really big buff to Hecarim Jungle, but a decent nerf to Hecarim Top. I think both options will still be really strong though, and so we can look to see a little bit more Hecarim Jungle being played now. Kalista no longer gains bonus distance when dashing backwards. This is a really big nerf since it hurts her mobility a ton, which is generally what makes her strong. She will still be good, but she won't be super powerful in teamfights anymore, and will require a bit more peel than before since her kiting potential is a lot lower now. Nocturne received a damage buff to his E. The damage increase was quite high and is significant enough to have an impact on his kit. I think his kit was already kind of strong enough to succeed, so this kind of change is something that he can definitely use, and so I would expect to see him being played a lot now since he was already quite powerful. Olaf received a buff to his ultimate that grants him a bunch of bonus movement speed for a second when running towards enemies. I actually already thought Olaf was a pretty decent pick in this meta, and although his win rate might not really show it, I think a change like this will make him quite powerful and gives him a lot of kill pressure, both in lane and in teamfights. So although it doesn't really fix his weaknesses, it makes his strengths a lot stronger, which is really significant, and it's kind of what he needed. So I think we can definitely expect to see some Olaf play. Trundle received a buff in the form of an increased slow and knockback distance on his pillar. Trundle has always been a great pick versus tanks, so I'm honestly really surprised that we haven't seen that much of him so far in this meta. I expected him to be played a lot, and although he hasn't been, this change helps his utility and should be enough to make people notice his power in the tank meta. And now the item changes. Cinderhulk now does less damage overall, while also not scaling up during combat, but does double damage to jungle monsters. This was intended to be a nerf to the top lane smite champions, and it accomplishes that quite well, and actually kind of buffs the jungle clear speed with this item too. So it's a nice change for tank junglers that makes their clears just a tiny bit faster, while nerfing the super strong smite top lane strategies. In addition, Skirmisher's Saber, the red smite item debuff, now lasts for only 4 seconds instead of 6, once again intended to be a nerf to the top lane smite champions. This in combo with the top lane Cinderhulk nerf makes the strategy overall a lot weaker, and so it won't be as popular anymore. And lastly, Dragon has had its attack speed and base damage increased, so it should be a little bit harder to kill in the early game now. Anyways, that just about wraps it up. My name is Jeremy, and that's it for my video on patch 5.9. Hey guys, it's me Jeremy. Thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, definitely make sure to hit that like button so I can tell, and if you're interested, definitely check me out on all the socials, of which you can see over there. And if you really enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe for some more awesome content in the future, as well as you can check out some of my other videos up here and over there. Anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.